Hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Welcome to the garden. Was going to go out and do something, get soil today, but I'm available for work, so I decided to do a project closer to home. So today we're going to talk about hardening off plants and the best way to do that. But first of all, why don't you get your wellies? Meet me in the garden. So the first question many people have is, what exactly is hardening off? Well, if you have grown your plants in an indoor setting, that is to say under some grow lights, maybe used a heat mat to get them started, your plants are used to that environment. They're used to being very warm. They're used to the amount of light that your lights give them. Now that can be fairly substantial if you have pretty expensive grow lights, but a lot of us use just LED lights, which are not full spectrum, but if you use, like for example, a shop light, those actually will provide a good amount of light in the right spectrum to get good leaf formation. So hardening off is simply the process of getting your plants used to being outside where they can handle their new environment, which is now going to be dependent on the weather in your area. Now, this area of my garden where I have this table set up and my seed trays on, this is in a fairly shady part of the garden. This time of year, in the early spring, the sun is not going as high in the sky, so I actually get more shade. Now later in the summer, when the sun is really high in the southern sky, it'll actually be still pretty sunny over here at this time of day. So we're going to do our hardening off at the beginning of the season. So once our last frost danger has passed, which I believe for us in 7B it has, then is the time to start hardening off. So the way we're going to do that, and let's start with if you have a shady area in your garden, the way that I would start doing that is I'm bringing my seedlings out. This is day one for these seedlings, so they're going to get 2 hours out here in the shade. Tomorrow they'll get 4 hours in the shade, and the next day they will get 6 hours in the shade, which actually, given that I'm starting at about 2 in the afternoon, then that means it'll pretty much, the sun will have set by that time. So then what I'll do, I'll bring them out just a little bit earlier, 2 hours earlier the next day, and then I'm pretty much going to say they're hardened off to the shade. So then I'll just want to do a couple more days where they get 2 hours in full sun before they go shady for the rest of the day. My tomatoes here, these are going to be under 50% shade cloth. Just that takes some of the stress of the heat off of them. Had really quite a bit of success once I started using that last year, so that's my plan for them. These pepper plants are going to a new home. The pepper plants on the end that are mine, some of those may be in full sun, but pepper plants really prefer some shade, so I actually have some plans to try and shade most of those this year too. You don't have to, but I think it does help take some of that heat pressure off of your plants, especially if they're in a raised bed, or even more so in containers, because they just get so hot under there. Now then, let's say that you don't have much shade in your garden and you just want to go ahead and get them used to being in the sun. What I would do for them is I would bring them out for 1 hour in the sun. Again, I would start later in the day, around 3 is probably good, because that way the intensity of the sunlight is actually decreasing at that point of the day. And then every day you just leave them out another hour. Once you have got them to where they're out till sunset, you can come back and start them an hour earlier. So I'd come back and start them at 2 o'clock, and then they'd be good for the rest of the day. And really, if you did one more day, so starting at 1, they're ready to go outside at that point. Once they're tolerating 7 or 8 hours of being outside, they're going to do just fine outside. I'm going to add another little project in, since I'm kind of stuck here at home anyway, being available for work and everything. So I am actually going to go get my garden tools, scrape some of this stuff out, the old stuff, and get these buckets topped off with some good soil mix. That's the stuff I use, and I'll go ahead and put that on the end screen, how to make wicking soil, so that you can make some of that for yourself if you want to. If you've got buckets already going and that you clear them out, get all the weeds and stuff out if you haven't already. Some people do this in the fall and then cover them up with, you know, polythene or something. I don't do that. I let this stuff just sort of deteriorate in here, and that adds a little goodness to the soil that's in here. But if you want to, you don't really want to mix anything, a potting mix is fine to add to your buckets. This is actually in a rain gutter grow system, which that's all going to need cleaning out down here too. But the wicking mixture works for this. That's probably what I'll be using. But if it's just a little bit on the top, you can use compost or you can use potting mix. And this bucket, as you can see, pieces have come off. It's pretty fragile. Actually, you know, yeah, I'm busting holes in it right through. So I'm going to replace this bucket. It's not a whole lot of sense trying to work with that. So guys, looks like I've got 16 that are ready, other than topping them off. So definitely we'll be able to plant some tomatoes this week. Alright, the plants are looking happy. They've been out here for about an hour, and we'll give them another hour out here, and then I'll come and move them back in, and we'll put them out again tomorrow. So I just moved the camera really quickly. You may be able to see down here the bottom flower slightly to the right. We have a little bee action going on there. Honeybee, that's the first honeybee I've seen this year, so that is pretty exciting. This is the reason you want to have some flowers in your garden. Well, no, she's back working on the plants some more, getting some more pollen. It's really cool, pretty cool when they come in like that. Let me see if I can get a bit closer.